Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to Riot Games. I snuck in here. I've been invited to chat with two very lovely people, of course, Tom and Sean, about something very special today. I'm not exactly sure what's happening. They just told me to come in here, hang out, play some video games.
We're here to talk about our first playtest towards the end of this year. It's going to be in August, calling it Alpha Lab. This is the next step in building this game together with players. And so this is going to be a very early version of sort of our first draft of the whole game, not just core gameplay.
So it's not just the two characters on screen hitting each other and then the assists coming in and stuff like this, but the actual around that, playing online against other human beings.
Yeah, exactly. So it's going to be an online playtest. Offline play is there, but it won't be in this test. And you'll be able to play from at home, PC or Xbox or PlayStation 5. But the whole experience of like how you get into the game, what are the things to do other than fight? We have some great ideas and we put them together in a little package. And so it's going to be a little jank, but that's kind of the point. It's important that we hear your voice at an early enough stage where we can actually make changes.
Yeah, and I get the sense that this is really just the bones of it, right? Like the gameplay is there for everybody to mash on and have a good time, but the bones and the outline of all of the other systems in the game, like how you play against other humans, what the UX and UI and stuff like that looks like, all these other features around the game besides like I'm playing and hitting another character on the screen. So when people get a chance to play this at home, what kind of feedback are you looking for? You're not just looking for, I'm the EVO champion and the frame data on this needs to be different. You're looking for everything, right? Like I went to play against my friend and it was hard to figure out how to play against them, or like, these kinds of things. Like, what are you looking for and what kind of feedback is helpful for you?
Yeah, exactly. This is our first draft of like sort of the whole game loop, right? So how do you get into the game? How do you like play with your friends? We're trying some things that are, some things that are conventional to be familiar to you, some things that are new. And we want to get your feedback on how it's all holding together. What's your wish list? Like based on what you're seeing, like what's missing?
Tag me in.
Yeah. Sean, tell us about the kind of cool things that we're looking for.
Yeah.
To Tom's point, and kind of to your earlier point, this is really early, right? And so when it comes to the type of feedback we want, we really do want to hear everything. Even like the push the glasses up, like actually that stuff's helpful.
Yeah.
The larger parts of the game, the around game, even though it's very early, we want to hear about it.
Yeah, I get the sense you guys have direction. Like this is what we're thinking about doing. So, it seems like feedback of like whether you think that's a cool place to go or not is good. And to your point that Tom just mentioned, it's not just, oh, this is all the stuff in the game, this is what I like about this, but things that are missing. If you're like, oh, I really wish this feature was in the game, right? Maybe you guys are already planning it, but maybe it's something you weren't thinking about and it might be useful, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, we're long-time fighting game players and we just want to make a better future. And this is like the first step there, and it's the first step of many with players in this capacity where people can take it home and play with it.
All right, so this test is coming out. People are gonna get a chance to play it. So when I boot up the video game, if I get in, when I boot up the video game and it's time to play, like what do I have my hands on?
First and foremost, we're gonna let people that get in be able to invite one other player to come in and play the game, which is really exciting. So, you get in there with a friend. You're gonna see the champions that we've seen so far up through EVO Japan and Combo Breaker, but there's gonna be a new champion to try out. And so you'll see things like, Ari, who will have a little bit of an updated kit, a little bit easier to play, but still have that ceiling. You'll see other things like we'll have a new fuse called a pulse fuse, which is the recommended way to play it. It makes it much easier and get to the fun more quickly, as well as some changes based on feedback we've heard around how long combos are. So we're reducing some of the outliers, and also we're upping some of the special damage and early combo damage to just make matches go a little bit more quickly.
Every time I see you two, they're like, yeah, last time you guys mentioned this. It's basically been like every time I talk to somebody on the team, it's like, you guys mentioned this last time and in this build, this is new. So tell me what you think about it, right? It's been almost always universally, hey, some change or something that somebody mentioned last time is like in this version. So I'm sure the same kind of thing will happen. But I wanted to touch on this fuse that you were talking about a second ago. What's this new fuse situation like?
Our aspiration for this game is to make a game that's really fun right away. Both for experienced players and like whatever your skill level like with fighting games. If you're brand new, if maybe like you played a lot of fighting games but you haven't played this kind of tag fighter, or if like you're really into tag fighters, like no matter what your background, we want you to have fun right away.
And so we try a lot of things, and one of the things we land on is this pulse fuse. And the way it works is you can mash light, medium, or heavy, and it will lead you into an auto combo.
Right.
And so just mashing light, this is what you get.
Perfect.
And so, that's great. And if you mash medium, you get this.
Yeah, spend some meter.
Yeah, and spend some meter and it'll go into a super. And if you mash heavy, it goes right into your ult. Of course, you need to have the meter, to go into the ult, so it kind of protects you in that way. But the really cool thing about this fuse as well is you can flow between the options. So like, you can hit this light, get into an air combo, switch to medium, and now all of a sudden it goes right into the other super. Once people start getting comfortable switching, between the different lines of auto combo within Pulse, then they can start maybe like, oh, cool, I can kind of get an idea of how this character's combos work. I can see the basic building blocks, what comes after what. Then they could try it on their own and maybe like lead into an advanced fuse.
And also all your manual options still work while you have this fuse.
I was gonna say, this whole time you've been on Pulse Fuse doing all these fancy combos and stuff, but like if you want to, you can also do the auto combos. So if you're playing with a friend who's new, and they pick the Pulse Fuse and they're learning the game, then you can still do all the fancy stuff you want to do with your character.
One of the most important things for us is being able to play with your friends. We were hoping that this could also be one of those avenues to better enrich the duo play experience when someone's brand new. They're having a good time, you're doing the more advanced stuff, you're actually playing the game together still. And again, like, they can take that next step at any time.
The option there is really, really nice, especially the onboarding is so much better when you have something like this that helps people out.
I actually find myself sort of dipping in and out of Pulse Fuse, like when we're testing a new champion and I'm like, okay, what does this character do, right? And then I say, okay, these are my bread and butters, this is kind of what the champion's all about. And then I try to do it manually, and then I can it's just a quick way of onboarding to the character by playing and not like watching videos or.
Like anything, tell us what you think about it.
Yeah.
When you're playing with it, you're trying it with different characters, when you're trying it with a friend.
Yeah, and that's something I'm really curious about is like when someone else plays it, if playing with their friend liked using it, or if their friend immediately jumped off and was like, cool, I'm gonna go do, this now, and like I'm gonna learn the regular combos. I'm really curious what people think. And when I teach people the game, I will definitely recommend them to try this, right, at first. But I was gonna mention on your topic about gameplay changes, you mentioned Ahri has changed quite a bit. So what's the difference between the character from before to now? Because for me, I didn't end up learning her because I thought, well, this is gonna take me some time. Like, she was a character that I was like, I think the floor is probably pretty high here, so when I have time at home, I'll learn the character. That was sort of the way I looked at her.
That's pretty crazy because you picked up Echo, which is like one of our more advanced characters, right?
Yeah, well, I learned him and I didn't have time for Ahri. That was kind of what happened. I was like, I'll spend my time on Echo, and then whatever everybody else does with Yasuo, I'll steal that.
Ooh, are we hurting each other for sports?
One thing we heard a lot about Ahri is that people love how she looks, how she plays, and then when they play her, they're like, oh man, this is an ammo system I have to manage. This is a really hard hump to get over. And a lot of the feedback we got was, oh hey, when I hit this S1, it just uses all my ammo up. And then I have to like find space to get it back. And most people can't do that, nor is it that exciting, right? So you still see the 3 Foxfire charges, but there's no more like using the ammo and then having to manually recharge it. Before, when you hit S1, it would do a barrage of Foxfire blasts, and now it just shoots a single Foxfire. But if you hit it a couple times, she'll do multiple hits. So you can just like do something really acrobatic and fun and use her magic. But if you hit it a third time, she does this Rekka where you get paid, and she can continue the combo from there. And that's just because like, hey, I see this character and I want to use her and I want to do something fun. And so the team did a really good job of giving an opportunity to kind of like find this fun and this cool outcome and these acrobatics, this magic right away. However, we still want to add the juice. Right. And so you can air dash after the second hit. So go ahead and try it. And you can, put a mix on it, and it starts to get really fun when you have an assist come out, as well, and then I have to guess what you're gonna do. But, there's counterplay. So if you do it again, and I was any good at it, we could show you the counterplay. So, you can, if they're too predictable, you can hit her out of it. Then she's also got a down S1. Before, this used to be a bomb that would use all of your charges, but now what it does is it, creates this shot that homes in on you after a delay.
Yeah, homed on the air, yeah.
And so, it's a little bit slow, but as you'd expect, you can actually do some really cool setups with it. So we'll go ahead and show you one just like quick example here, where if you call the assist and you switch to him, that still hangs out on the screen,
right?
And it's gonna go after you as well. So y'all show us what 6 setups you can do with this thing.
Yeah, and I think she's like visually, she's really, really cool, and obviously she's really popular. People like the character a lot, so it makes a lot of sense that people will be picking her up and they're like, oh cool, she's like so new, I want to play her, she's really awesome, and they try her and are like, oh god, I don't know what's happening. So these changes, especially these 2 changes together, seem like you're trying to figure out ways for new players to jump in and then have access to things faster while retaining that kind of skill ceiling for people long term, which I mean, the last champion we saw, Lowy, obviously, she has like the just frames and all kinds of wild stuff in her tentacles. And I found that she was a really complex champ with a lot of things going on. So yeah, it is cool to see the design side of both of those things.
I sort of reject this notion that like if you're making good for beginners and it's sort of is bad for experienced players. We want both, right? And that's very hard. And with Ahri, we saw that like we were really nailing it for like the high school players, but we were just missing for like new skill players. And so now everything that Sean says is like, how do we like raise the bar for everyone?
We're just like wanting people to like get to the fun quickly, feel like they can have an impact right away, and then cool, get into that flow state. Let me just get one more. And it's very tricky, right? Because it's a team game. We have to think about duo play. If you kill one champion too quickly, how does that feel? And we're super interested to know from everybody playing and everybody watching, like, hey, like, what does the game feel like now? Did we go far enough?
Yeah, is the game too fast? Like, is everybody like, oh gosh, I got in there and died in 5 seconds? With versus games in general, when they're newer, the games tend to take a little longer because people don't have fancy combos and stuff, but yeah, people were developing them pretty fast, even from just like playing on show floors. Every time I've given you guys feedback, you've come back and been like, all right, we tried it, or we looked into it and like we thought it made a lot of sense, or we did this change. And so there's always like a feeling of whatever I'm saying is not just like, yeah, all right, you say that's good, sure, guy. It does feel like, all right, this is what, we heard what you were trying here, we tried it like this. So it is a cool feeling to know that that's being heard, and I'm looking forward to seeing what everybody says and what you guys get for feedback once the game is playable.
Yeah, we're literally making this game for you. Like the general you, of course, but also the general you out there, right? But that's all there is to it, right? Like we're in it to make a game for the FGC that can be something that players enjoy for a really long time.
You've been talking a lot about feedback, give everybody feedback. How do you give people feedback? How does that work? Do I just like send you a pigeon, or is there some kind of way that I communicate with Riot Games? I just write Dear Riot like it's Santa, or how does that work?
Right, so if you are in the playtest, we'll be sending out surveys, and so please fill out the survey. If you're not in the playtest, we're gonna let folks who are in the test stream, right? We'll be watching social media. We're not just gonna look at the surveys, we're gonna look at sort of the broader conversation that's happening around this video game. The other important thing is thank you everyone who signed up in the past. For this one, you're gonna need to sign up again. Sorry about that. And the instructions and how to do all that, we just put out an article on our website, and it's also linked in the description of this video, so check that out. Please sign up again.
Yeah, sign up for real this time.
Yeah, sign up for real. Or if you've already signed up, sign up again.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I'm sure everybody is down to sign up again. I'll be signing up again. So who can get involved? Like what places on the planet can I check this out? Is it everybody? Is it certain places? How are you rolling this out?
In this first one, we're starting with a few select regions. It'll be on PC and console. We'll widen that out as we get closer to launch. But for now, this is our first sort of contact with like the player base at large, and so we want to like keep it a little bit contained. And this is sort of like an inflection point for us. Every single time players get their hands on this game, they teach us something new about it, and that's like our whole approach. We're literally making this game for the FGC. If you guys don't love it, then we're doing something wrong.
So we've been chatting about this for a little while. It sounds like everybody's gonna be able to sign up, get involved, which you guys have been encouraging everybody. There's an article they can check out, the YouTube description, wherever it is, sign up, make sure you get in there. But what else is, should we be looking forward to in this? Is there gonna be more news, more information? Is it just like you guys are vanishing off the face of the earth until this thing is out? Like what should I be looking forward to?
Yeah, for sure we'll have more information about like how this works and what's gonna be in it in the weeks leading up to the test. And if you're going to EVO, you'll be able to take a sneak peek at the build there.
Nice, cool. So that'll be there, playable, local play is in it.
Local play
I
is
want to
there.
emphasize that local play exists.
Yeah, to be clear, that will just be the local play version of it,
Yeah.
And so all the around game stuff we talked about will come at the Alpha Lab moment.
This is our first step in sort of the next leg of the journey. As we get closer to launch, there'll be more of these. Not sure quite when. A lot of it will be based on what we learn from this test and how long it takes us to respond.
Sounds like a plan. So thanks for you two sitting down with me, inviting me in here to chit chat about the game. Thanks everybody watching at home. We'll catch you guys next time with more info on 2XKO.